28 on your list.
I can't even believe that he's 28.
This shocked you.
It shocked me.
It's your own list. You're making the list, and you shocked yourself.
It shocked myself. Right, I did. Andy Dalton is number 28. Andy Dalton had a resurgence last year. Andy Dalton, I want to say, what got into him? He must have ate a lot of spinach or somebody put something into him because he just, to me, was a different football player last year. Listen, and you know me, early on in the process when Andy Dalton was out there, I was like, what? We know what Andy Dalton is. What are we playing Andy Dalton for?
Yeah.
Let's go with Jameis Winston. We're not quite sure what he is, and I thought there was more potential. But, man, when I was making this list and going back and watching Andy Dalton, here's what's changed about Andy Dalton. I mean, one, Andy Dalton changed his motion a little bit. He changed this part of his career. He shortened his backswing, right, in honor of Brooks Koepka and the PGA, what we're talking about.
You could tell that on film.
I could definitely tell that. He had a motion. He's got a very flexible arm where that arm would really kind of be a little too floppy throughout his whole career. And it's like he made an effort to go, you know what, I'm not going to let it go back all the way and look for 2 extra mile per hour, right? I'm going to just be on the money and get it out a hair quicker. And he would stop it right here. And to me, it led to not only quicker release, but he rarely missed the target throughout the year. Andy Dalton was one of those really good quarterbacks that I used to watch and go, man, big moment. You missed that throw because of your floppy-ass arm and all that. And damn, you're too good to miss that throw, right? There was, this year, when you started to dissect it, I started to go, damn, Andy Dalton, ball out of his hand, quick decision. And not just quick decision to keep the quarterback rating up and the completion percentage up. He was aggressive this year. He was aggressive, and with the other thing that popped to me with the aggressiveness, and I think this is because of the motion change, and I really would like to know, is he talked to Drew Brees or those coaches down there who taught Drew Brees, did they teach him to change some of these things with his mechanics? Because on those aggressive throws too, and this was always an issue with him, is he's never been a great aggressive thrower of the ball. I've always been like, there's A.J. Green for 50, but they got 40 yards because he underthrew it, or it should have been an 80-yard touchdown, but he had a stop, and they got 30 yards on it, right? Mm-hmm. And not this year. Man, the more you go and you watch him back, you just start to go, whoa, down the field post, on the money, deep crosser into tight coverage, on the money, in cut, tight coverage, boom, on the money. And I think that's where he really jumped up in my eyes, at least from last year to this year.
So you're not alone, too. There were other people that noticed this, too, which is interesting,
that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
So the film showed you that. Some of the numbers indicated that as well. So you talked about the accuracy, the on-target throws.
Yeah.
Sport Radar kind of tracks all the throws. And it's subjective, of course, but they try to say, was this an on-target throw? Was this off-target, bad throw, good throw? Andy Dalton was 5th in on-target throw percentage, according to them. 5th in the NFL. All quarterbacks here. He was number 5. And then Pro Football Focus.
Yeah.
Maybe always take it with a grain of salt, as you always tell me.
Well, they do a lot of good things.
They do a lot of good stuff.
I know.
They do a lot of good
fight
stuff.
Back every now and then against some things.
He was 7th. The 7th quarterback last year. He was ahead of guys like Tua and Geno and Trevor and Herbert and Brady and Rodgers. And so who knows what exactly they're evaluating on. But like you said, they saw a lot of good.
There was a lot of good.
You saw a lot of good.
A lot of good. And there was. That's, I think, the thing that jumped out to me when I went back and watched was, you know me by now. Everybody should be able to throw the 5-yard slant perfectly. I don't give a shit if you can or cannot. I mean, if you can. I'm not going to be like, he throws the 5-yard slant better than anybody in the game. Man, he's the best quarterback I ever seen. No, that doesn't do anything unless you got Tyreek Hill and a bunch of other weapons that you can just do that with. No, you got to, like we've been talking about with Mahomes and Josh Allen and all that. If you want to win games and beat the better teams, 4-yard throws ain't going to get it done. It's just not. You got to make some plays. And, man, when I watched him back, that was a pleasant surprise. And I did not give him enough credit for it during the season when I watched him. And, hey, this too. For an older guy, dude still moves well. He really does. He moves well. He's still tough. He ain't afraid to tuck it and run for 5 or 6 yards. And that's where I give Andy Dalton a lot of credit.
And despite that added aggressiveness, he had the highest completion percentage of his career last year. His percentage of throws per touchdown was his best since 2018, best quarterback rating since 2015. Now he's on the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
Head coach Frank Reich said this weekend Andy Dalton will remain the number one quarterback when the full squad works together.
Yeah.
Although he did note that the plan is for rookie Bryce Young to wind up taking
there.
more reps
Right.
than the veteran over the course of the team's workouts.
That's
He said,
right.
quote, when he's ready, when it's best for the team, that's when we'll look to make the transition. So I think this is interesting. I think this is probably more interesting than what's going on at Houston, because I think
Agreed.
Houston's going to get C.J. Stroud in there and
Right.
play. They're rebuilding.
Right. And you know what Davis Mills is and all that, and
Yes.
there's not great talent.
Yes.
But you're going to say what? There is some talent here with this
There's
guy.
some talent, right? And he showed it last year, and he showed that he maybe
He
even
showed
at
it
this
before.
age, he might be improving somehow.
Right.
And so unless Bryce Young comes in there and is just clearly better, I think it could give them an opportunity to ease Bryce Young in a little bit more than maybe the Houston Texans will ease in C.J. Stroud.
I think so. With one and I think the situations are different. Right, where Houston, it's like it's a rebuild. They know they're starting from scratch. I think Carolina can kind of look at themselves and go, no, wait, we can be competitive right away. Like we're not Houston. We have more pieces on our team here, right? Which can lend them, I think, to maybe playing a guy who's a little bit better at first, right?
Yeah.
And I think Andy Dalton. I think that'll be a tougher overcome by Bryce Young. Again, this is where the Bryce Young thing is tricky, right? It's his arm is not better than Andy Dalton's. He's not as big as Andy Dalton, And then Andy Dalton's played a lot of football too. This is different than Davis Mills that way. I mean, Andy Dalton's been to the playoffs a bunch and the starting quarterback for the Bengals for a long, long time. This ain't just chopped liver here, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, I don't expect Bryce Young to necessarily be the starter week one, where it's like C.J. Stroud will be. This situation's a little different there. And, be interested to see how it plays out. Now, Bryce Young, if he just balls out and looks like a natural in the preseason and all that, then I think he will start. And to me, if it's even close, you know me, I'm always start the young kid and let's get it going.
Yeah.
But, this could be one where it takes a little bit to close the gap more than the Davis Mills, C.J. Stroud one.
I almost think it could go down the Jets route.
Listen, this is what scares me about quarterbacks like Bryce Young.
Yes.
You know this about me. I'm not trying to be a jerk. I love a lot about Bryce Young. But when you're not super physically gifted, I always worry about they're going to be on the field and they're going to go, whoa, wait, the number one pick, his arm's not as good as Matt Corral's or Andy Dalton's. Hey, the number one pick isn't. He's barely faster than Andy. I don't know if he's faster than Matt Corral. Like that's where I worry about that, right? That's the only position in the sport that we do that with. That's the only. If it was any other position, we'd go, well, he's the backup then.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to play the corner who's not as fast and not as strong and not as physical and all, right? So, and I know more goes into playing quarterback, but that's what scares me, in those situations a little bit. Yo, thanks for watching, homies. It's the off season, but there's no off season for us here at Unbuttoned. Me, Ahmed Fareed, we're going to hit all the stories. So hit subscribe for us, okay? We got a ton coming up. My draft prospect rankings, my Simms top 40 quarterback countdown, and videos of me and NFL QBs playing catch and talking about their development and mechanics. Again, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out, homies. See you soon.